national voter file, because we have a national voter file, we know all 35,000 people who've moved into the state of North Carolina since the last election, all of whom we can track down and get to vote in this election in North Carolina. And, you know, the South has changed a lot in the last 35 years, and the Democratic Party has changed a lot in the last 35 years. We will never again make the mistake of not coming to the South and proudly asking for our votes as Democrats, because the Democratic Party message will not be delivered anymore by Rush Limbaugh and Bill O'Reilly. It'll be delivered by Democrats. And we will say who we are. We are reaching out to everybody. We're reaching out to evangelical Christians. And let me tell you why we're reaching out to evangelical Christians. If you poll evangelical Christians under the age of 35, the three biggest issues that they care the most about are poverty, climate change, and Darfur. Now that sounds to me like a Democratic Party agenda. And if we can find common cause with people, we ought to work with them. I don't think for a minute we're going to get 50% of the evangelical vote, but I do know that there are things that we have in common, and if we work together, we can make a better America. Because the truth is, it is more important to be an American than it is to be a Democrat or a Republican. Let me talk a little bit about the biggest job for President Obama. The biggest job for President Obama is not just about Iraq, and it's not just about health care, and it's not just about the economy. The biggest job for President Obama is to heal this nation, is to heal this country, after 30 years of ugly, bitter, divisive, scapegoating politics. We are a better country than that, and Barack Obama will begin to bring this country together. And the next job of President Obama will be to take the United States back to the position of moral authority which we held from the end of World War I till George Bush went into Iraq without telling us the truth about why we were sending our families and our brave soldiers over there. You know, I am incredibly proud of the Democratic foreign policy, starting with Harry Truman in 1948, when he put forward the Marshall Plan, which healed a whole continent and made them our allies. I'm incredibly proud of Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton, who sat down with the Israelis and the Palestinians in the Middle East and began to bring them closer together, although we have a long way to go in the Middle East. I am incredibly proud of Bill Clinton, who sat down with the Protestants and the Catholics in Northern Ireland and helped end 30 years of horrible terrorist warfare in which 3,000 men, women, and children lost their lives. You can't put people together in the cause of peace unless you have the moral stature to do that. And you can't have the moral stature to do that if you act like the people who we are fighting to preserve our country. The reason we don't torture is not because we think terrorists are nice people. They're not. The reason we don't torture is because if you speak of human rights and freedom and democracy, you have to act like human rights, freedom, and democracy, and respecting others at all times. So it is time for a new country. It's time for a country where young people can stand up and give us the message that it's more important to work on the things that we agree with and stop fighting over the things that we don't agree with. It is time that we have a nation that isn't self-absorbed, and we have to understand that America and our country is more important than our candidates are. It is time that we had a country where everybody was a part of our country again, where we work together instead of working together separately. So now I'm going to put you to work. You know, this is fun. We get to come here and we all agree with each other. Well, most of us agree with each other. And we get to have some fun and whoop and holler a little bit. We can't do this unless you want to do it. changed a lot when I got to the DNC. We have a national voter database and all this kind of business. We have staff in every single state. We have people who are investing in your voter file from Washington so that your voter file is the same as everybody else's. We've picked up a lot of seats in North Carolina, and we're going to pick up some more in this congressional election. But one of the things that we did, in 2005, there was an election in Virginia for governor. They have an off-year election. We put in 20% of the total budget of the governor's campaign in Virginia so that we could do some things in Virginia to learn how to win. And we had like the good doctor I am, we had a series of control groups. One of them got direct mail. One of them got those lovely robocalls that you all love so much. One of them got college kids knocking on doors in the last 3 weeks. One of them got targeted radio ads, etc., etc., etc. And each one of those groups, the turnout went up between 1 and 2.5%. But there was another group where the turnout went up 12.5%. And that was a group that we've now turned into a national program called Neighborhood Volunteer Program. And we need you to sign up for that before you go. And there are people with clipboards right in the back. Raise your hand, raise your clipboards. We do not want you to leave here without signing your name to those clipboards, because we're going to put you to work. What we found out is that if you knock on your neighbor's door 3 times, 25 doors 3 times between now and the election, that you will win the election. You will convert people, because the truth is, as I used to say in 2004, you do have the power. You have more power than Rush Limbaugh and Bill O'Reilly with your neighbors, with the people that know you. They'll believe you because you know them before they're going to believe somebody who's a talking head on television. So what we need you to do, and we will assign you, when you sign up for these things, to register people to vote and to get them out to vote, we believe there's 1 million unregistered voters in North Carolina. And we believe if you register those folks, you will definitely win in North Carolina, without question. You will definitely win in North Carolina. But you've got to go door to door to get people out to vote, to register them and make sure they vote. You know, we've done registration drives for a long time. It's not the registration that's hard, it's making sure that once you register them, they will come out and vote. And you have same-day registration here, which is a big help, but that is not enough. Now, I love, one of the nice things about the 50-state strategy is you get folks to compete with each other. So Oregon actually knocks on 40 doors 4 times. Now, which is better, Oregon or North Carolina? I mean, North Carolina. All right. So maybe 40 doors 4 times. It takes about a weekend to knock on 40 doors. I mean, really knocking on 40 doors, not just knock on the door and leave a piece of literature. I mean, take a little time. I think there's an awful lot of people who would spend 4 weekends between now and the election making sure that we really did bring change to our country. And I think we can do that. So we need you to sign up to do that, and we need you to not only promise to knock on at least 25 of your neighbors' doors 3 times, but also to find 2 other people who will agree to do the same thing. And if you do that, we're going to win this election. So let me thank you. Let me ask you to sign up on the clipboards at the back. Folks will be around. Let me tell you how much this means. This is the difference between a domestic policy which gives all the money to the folks that already have it and starves ordinary middle-class people and makes it impossible for their kids to go to college, to have health insurance, and to have their kids have a decent education. This is the election that determines whether we're going to have a real health care policy in this country where everybody has health insurance, or whether we are going to keep doing what we're doing. This is an election which determines whether we have a foreign policy which works with our allies, as Barack Obama talked about yesterday in Berlin, which works with our allies to cooperate in the fight against terrorism, and to make sure that we are respected in the world again, or that simply turns our back on the world that we don't agree with. This is an election to determine whether we have the kind of America that we were promised, that promised others that we were going to have hope, opportunity, and freedom. This election is about hope, opportunity, and freedom. It is the party of the future, which is the Democratic Party, against the party of the past. We believe that Americans will always vote for the future and for hope against the past and for fear. This is an election that is a deep transitional election for the American people. We need you to be a part of it. If you are, we will win, and it's going to start here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thanks very much. Thank you.